Hey guys, so it's about a month after we harvested the triticale and filled our first silo. When we were done harvesting, we just covered it with plastic. We didn't set up the unloader because we still had some feed left in our old silos to feed out. The old silo is just about empty, so it's time that we get this one set up. Gotta get the corn planter out of the way and get the manure spreader hooked up. We want to back that in right underneath this conveyor because there's going to be a little bit of waste on top of this silo since we covered it. Hopefully it's not too bad. The silo builders are putting the roof on that third silo today. It's slightly breezy, but I guess they decided to tackle it. Dad's oiling that conveyor chain with some vegetable oil, getting that ready to go. And we're gonna hook the little International into our blower just to get some fresh air up there. I'm gonna head up the inside chute now, the pitchfork, and climb up to where the feed level is. All right, last time I did this, it was dark out, so it's nice we can actually see a little better. They stick a window in the chute every 12 feet, let some light in. It's nice during the day. Made it. When we got done filling, it was about a month ago. That was the door I climbed out of there, so the feed level sank all the way down to here. Definitely have a lot of space in the top of this if we want to put some more feed in next year. Ideally, right away after you're done harvesting, you drop your unloader down and start feeding, and that way you keep the feed face fresh, don't allow it to spoil at all. But since we couldn't really do that, we covered it. We're gonna have a little bit of spoilage underneath this plastic on the top just because it's not packed down very well. We got to fork some out maybe and then run the unloader a bit and throw some of it away. It's a trade-off though. The nice thing is we didn't have to feed the green stuff to the cows. We let it ferment a little bit until we start feeding it. So that'll be a benefit to us. Hopefully it's not too bad since it's only been a month. We'll learn, see how it goes this year. Next year we might do something different, but we'll see. I pushed the tarp down the chute, it didn't want to fall the whole way. So my dad's gonna get the spreader under the conveyor down there, and we're just gonna fork out the worst of the stuff. Really just around the edges there's some spoilage. The middle actually looks really good. It's got a good smell to it, so I was pretty happy with that. It's looking really good. We've only spent about 15 minutes. We're almost done forking. Honestly, the unloader could throw most of that out just fine. We're just gonna get those clumps out, and it's really not that much smeary stuff. Once we get the unloader running, we'll fork a little bit more off the edges into the middle and let the unloader throw it out. Then we'll be good to go. Dad has the unloader lowering now. Kind of slow process, but it's good to be out here in the chute just in case something would let loose. Should be a pretty quick setup once we get it down. First thing we'll do is just clean all the feed off the unloader. Stuff was so dry, it's just fluffy, it's not even moldy. Some of this dry fines that ended up on top of the unloader when we were filling. So we're gonna get this distributor glancer piece off. So this was sitting in the middle while we were filling. It was distributing it to the edges. Now we'll just swing the gooseneck across. So that lifts off and just pivots right over this way real easy. So now we just slide these. So then there's two little adjustments to make on the outside of these wheels, just right along the wall. Just need to extend this out. Make sure I find the right spot. Okay, I'm gonna tell them to run it. Turn this on to unload mode. We got this big motor off for filling. Go ahead and try it. We're ready.
Okay, here goes.
Okay, we're happy with it. This stuff is not warm, smells good. We went around the edges, forked some of that up, let the unloader get rid of it, and I'd say we're in good shape. And it's gonna get a little bit more stable and smelling even better after we feed out a couple feet, but I'm happy with it. I guess we learned we can cover it, let it for a month, and it's not gonna spoil too bad on us. The beautiful thing now is every bit of feed down from here will be fresh and shouldn't be any spoilage. In the bunker silos, we deal with spoilage up on the top where we have to cover with plastic. We get holes in the plastic or things aren't quite sealed up right. With upright silos, we're feeding straight off the top. So as long as we're feeding out every day, taking a layer off, it's gonna stay fresh. Everything below here is gonna be clean feed. If your doors are in bad condition, that's one spot you can have spoilage, but these are all brand new doors and we'll make sure we maintain them. So we got the camera, I turned this over just a little bit so we can watch from the ground now to make sure everything's working right. I'm gonna drop this unloader down to the next door. I think I can. It's gonna be close. And then we'll be set for a little bit. I didn't get any footage from down here, but I can when we go to feed this afternoon. Said it worked pretty well. Didn't plug up at all at the funnel. put some stuff around there, keep it from spilling out. They got the roof on that silo now. We're ready to start feeding out of that 4 silo. Unloader setup, it went pretty well. We were just waiting to get everything empty in our old silos. This one had been empty for a while. This one's a 20 by 50 harvest door, bottom unload. That one's cleaned out. And we had a little bit of haylage left in the 20 by 60 harvest door from last year. Just stopped using this one. Need to get all that junk feed cleaned out of here. These blue silos are steel, glass lined steel, sealed. There's some advantages to the bottom unload silos, but some disadvantages as well. One thing we don't like is towards the end, you get junk feed. You get some air that makes its way in through the unloader. So yeah, we had a little bit of haylage in there we were giving to the heifers. That got empty. And then we had the rye in this silo from last year. It's a 20 by 60 stave. We're down below the floor of the feed room. There's a little bit of feed in the bottom of this one. Not sure if we want to get any more out or not. These top unload silos, they're designed that the very bottom, you just leave a little bit of feed. You never get it completely empty. A lot of people were wondering why we didn't pour a nice floor in our new silos. These unloaders can't run down against the floor of any kind. You would damage the auger. So you have to stop it before you get down to the footer and just let a little bit of feed packed in there. That last little bit of feed's packed so tight, it doesn't really get spoiled or too gross. You just don't really want to feed it out. Just fill on top of it the next year and then you're good to go. This was really nice feed coming out of this silo recently. We got it in pretty dry, just like we did the triticale on the new silo this year, and it just ends up making great feed in the bottom of these silos. Gets packed really tight. Our plan is actually to get all these silos removed now that we're done feeding out of them. The harvest door bottom unloaders would have some value, especially this one. It's in pretty good shape. It's got good chains on it. We're gonna get somebody to come in and they'll remove the harvest door silos. They'll get used somewhere else. These concrete stave silos, they're the same as the new ones we built as far as the type of unloader. Unloading off the top. The advantage with the poured silos is they're just a thicker concrete. They're stronger. You can build them taller. You wouldn't be able to build a 24 by 132 stave silo. These are precast pieces of concrete that fit together. Then they put these metal bands to give it strength that wrap around the outside. On the inside, they put a some sort of putty concrete type stuff to seal it up. The staves were built around 1970. These blue silos were built in the 80s. Now that all these silos are empty, this is no longer our feed room. So we're gonna need to move our few minerals out of here that we're still using. We use this stuff for the pre-fresh cows. It's crazy that this feed room will never get used again. It's been our feed room for my whole life. We're still putting in these 4 separate minerals for the pre-fresh cows. That's gonna be changing with the robot feeder. We're gonna get a pre-fresh mineral pre-mix made, so it's gonna have those 4 ingredients with some grains, and it'll just all grow out of a bin when the robot calls for it. We'll take the feed tractor over to the new silo. I'm gonna start the dry cow batch for today now. Just the regular dry cow mineral that goes in. We're gonna have to dump it in the mixer. Mixing for 34 dry cows, we need 440 pounds of triticale out of the silo. Probably do a little bit more with a tarp or something to keep some of this from shooting out, but it's not too bad. about at where I need to be. I'm gonna raise the unloader just a little bit to get it to clean out. That way it doesn't have any trouble starting up again. I ran most of that out to the dry cows. Now I'm going to add a little bit of those minerals and some grain to the last bit for the pre-fresh cows. Dry cows are fed. Now I'm going to start the milking cow batch. I'm realizing there's some feed pollen there at the door. I need to adjust the gooseneck a little bit higher. It's kind of shooting it out right at the middle to the lower half of the door, so I'm just going to raise it towards the top. We got to climb up there. All right, that's it for the feeding. Cows seem to be liking the new Triticale. Should taste pretty similar to what the other stuff was. As we feed a ring or two out of that silo, it'll get a little bit better yet, but it's not bad at all. Yeah, it's crazy. We were only about right there. A lot of space above that line yet. All right, thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.